Next, we're going to find out about how a young boy grows into a killer and then finds his perfect victim. Really? Well, sort of, yes. We're talking to local author Denise Greenwood about her new crime mystery, Crushed. Hello, Denise.
Hello.
It sounds like a scary story. Tell us about it.
Well, to quote Lady Gaga, it's a bit of a weird romance. It starts off with a small boy who develops an unusual obsession, and yes, he does find his perfect victim, but it's a chance encounter, and she definitely tests him.
So this isn't your first novel either. You've written two other books as well. What are their titles?
The first one was Temptation, and then I wrote its sequel, Starkeeper, but they are not crime thrillers. It's contemporary fiction, and for anyone who doesn't know what that is, basically it means that every genre is in there.
So your new book, Crushed, that's a crime thriller, would you say?
Yes, it's a crime thriller, but I've also heard it described as dark and chilling.
Oh.
Because it did have to go in front of a panel of test readers before it got published.
So, Denise, from the three books that you've written, I've noticed that they're all, the main protagonists are men. What is it about the male psyche that you find interesting?
Well, that in itself is interesting because readers, even though the main protagonists are men, there are other protagonists who are women. And particularly in Crushed, it's debatable whether the main character is the man or whether it's the woman, and I leave that up to the reader to decide. But yes, initially, and I think it's mainly because when I've had my first lightning bolt of an idea, it's always been about a male character. And so I've continued with that. But throughout Temptation and Starkeeper, for example, there's a lot of characters. With Temptation, you've got the whole colourful cast from a cafe bar called Cherries, and then you've also got the congregation from a church, St Jude's. In Starkeeper, you've even got a group of misfit nerds, as it were. And you've also got a lot of the lady characters who play extremely prominent parts in it. And one character in particular, her name is Caprice, and I won't tell you too much about her, and I will leave it to the reader to decide what they actually think about her.
Now, I'm intrigued, Denise, as well, because you live locally.
That's right.
And I know that people take ideas from the local surroundings, local people we meet. Will we be able to spot anything in the books?
Definitely. Temptation in particular, I mean, I wrote that using all my local scenery and local places very close to where I live. So, of course, if you actually read Temptation and followed the route that I describe, you would know exactly where you are in Littleborough and where you're walking. And I've even taken photos of these places because I'm a very visual person. I have to be in the scene, and I have to, even if I'm sat in front of my laptop, I have to still see that scene and feel the emotion I had when I was in it. Same with Starkeeper. I mean, that was very much influenced by Littleborough, but I did use other places. I used Skipton Castle for some inspiration in there. But Crushed, I just went a little bit further afield, and I actually went to Halifax for that one, because that place, it kind of oozed the centre of dark deeds, and that's what I needed.
And if you're tempted to find out more about Denise, her website is all the W's, denise-greenwood.com. And if people want to buy any of your books, where should they go, Denise?
Well, for Temptation and Starkeeper, they're on Amazon in paperback and Kindle format. Crushed will be published by Purple Pumpkin Publishing in November this year. So initially it'll be on their site and it'll be in bookshops, and we're having a launch before it comes over here, and it'll be in the usual places, Waterstones, etc.
Well, thanks very much for being featured artist this week. We really appreciate you coming along, Denise. Thank you.
You're very welcome.